Real estate is not one of the pathways, it's the main pathway.
Okay.
It does not give you quick cash, no. Before you start reaping your rewards, I think you need 5 years of consistent investment.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's what I say. However, once you start reaping, there's no end.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for this opportunity to have this conversation with you, because I used to say it jokingly that you are my adopted papa, my adopted daddy, but you have not accepted your role.
Maybe 50-50.
So I'm also grateful for me crossing your path, because I've been dreaming of meeting someone like you, and I'm grateful for having you in my life. So, and we've done a lot of stuff together, and within this short while that we know each other, we've done a lot of stuff together, and I know that you have a lot of resources, and unlike other grown men and people who have achieved a lot, they don't tend to tell their story, and it's one of those stuffs that is affecting Africa in general, because when a successful man, when you are successful and all of that, you don't tend to integrate people that are coming into your journey, so that when you are gone, someone else will actually you can imagine MK Abiola with all the billions and all of that. Everything just died like that. So
unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's the main purpose of why I'm starting this out of conversation with people who are actually leader, who have achieved a lot and seen a lot. So today, I want to dive into one of I know you have a lot of stuff to talk about, but today, I want us to talk about your journey to real estate. And my first question would be, how do you know that this is the right path for you? Yeah, so I want you to just okay, I used to tell people that we all don't know what we're doing. Sometimes we just do some things and just click bam and just. So at what point in your life you're like, oof, I'm going to this?
With real estate, I will say that it's been an innate thing, something that's been in me since I was a child. And I'll tell you why it's been in me. Number one, I've read a lot of books that shows or state or pointed to the fact that most billionaires or successful people in the world in one way, shape, or form are into real estates, either practically or have some involvement in it. I'll give you an example. People talk about McDonald's being a food chain company. McDonald's is not a food chain company. McDonald's is a real estate company. They have more, what they generate from real estates is more than what they generate from food. Most people don't know that. That's number one. Number two, in 1992, I worked with a real estate company in Nigeria. And the company built a structure or a tower at number 15 Milverton Road. It's called Owena Towers. The land was owned by Ondo State government. I'm going to be revealing a few things there. And the company built it for 7 million naira. Then, 1992. The money was borrowed from a bank. I won't mention the name of the bank because the bank is gone now. And within 5 years of building that property, the rent the company got from the property was more than 7 million naira within 5 years. And the company was supposed to control the property, I think for about 25 or 30 years thereabout. So as she said, I began to look at real estate as something that is real, number one. Number two, that can make you successful, can point you towards success. And so therefore, when I began to grow, I remember 1995, I bought my first land in Nigeria for 30,000 naira then, 1995. And from there to where we are today.
Yeah, thank you for that. A lot of people, they see success, and the way social media is being projected out now is that people only see the success, the sweet side of the story. So, starting out on your business, what are the hardest part of you starting out?
The hardest part of it, number one, is you believing in yourself. You need to tell yourself, I will be able to do this. You understand? Most people don't believe in themselves. Most people, when you look at people who are successful, like, I won't say I'm successful in real estate. I'm being successful, because I think the word success is something, it's a journey. It doesn't end. Even when you are dead, you're still in the process of being successful. In other words, if you're dead, people who are coming behind you, if they cannot light their candle through you, even when you are gone, then you are not successful. Okay, now, the hardest part, like I said, is believing in yourself, taking that first step, that first commitment, that first journey. You want to say, I want to invest my 10 pounds, my 20 pounds. That's the most part. Once you start, Dr. Robert Schuller said, beginning is half done. So once you start, you take that first step, you commit the first 1 pound or the first 2 pounds into it, you are more or less successful. You understand? The fear of starting, that's the hardest part.
So do you think people fail because of bad strategy or because of bad timing?
I think the main reason why people fail is not identifying the reason why they are going to it. What's your purpose? Why do you want to go into real estate? Or why do you want to go into any kind of business? Until your why is known, you might end up failing. Because even when you are being successful, you will think, am I really doing it right? The fear, there's going to be fear, there's going to be doubt, because you don't know your why. Until your why is discovered. That's why Dr. Miles Monroe says, until purpose is known, abuse is inevitable. So if you don't know the purpose why you are doing something, then obviously you might end up giving up, even at the verge of success. So the first thing you need to know is, why do I want to go into this? I went into it because I want to build an intergenerational heritage, intergenerational success or wealth. That's why I went into it. And that's my why. And that's what still keeps me going on. Even when people think, oh, you need to retire, you need to relax. I think, no, I'm building intergenerational. I'm building for the next generation, the next one after them, the next one after them, the next one after them. It's going to continue.
So, talking about intergenerational wealth. So, I was on TikTok last week, and a white guy was ranting about his dad. His dad was very hardworking guy, bought an apartment, and they've been there for long. And when he gets old, they were telling their dad that he should sell it or do some stuff to transfer the ownership to them or stuff. But their dad said it's still okay. Then I think dementia setting and all of that.
Died.
He doesn't die, and his condition deteriorated, and it warrants all his kids to take him to care home. And he said they've collected everything, they've sold the house and all of that. So what are the approach you're taking against that
to safeguard?
To safeguard your wealth.
Now, that is where you now have to be strategic about what you do. And you have to be able to use an intelligent impetus in order to be able to prepare yourself for the future. A lot of people think it's about working or setting up business or earning money. No, you need to have a structure. And in your structure, you'll be able to identify and make sure these are not set up in your own personal name. If you want to build intergenerational wealth, it's got to be in the name of an organization, so that everything you own does not belong to you. You understand? I have little things, but my company has almost everything. You understand? If you look at my bank account today, you might not be able to find £1,000 or £2,000. You understand? Just a few £1,000s. But the asset that my company has is a few thousands. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is, that's about number two. While you're building it, you create a trust. We'll talk about some families in this world today. We'll talk about the Rothschild family. They're from Germany. They're all over the world now. They're one of the richest families in the world. And these families, what they have done is they've set up trusts so that in case anything happens to them, their children knows they have a legacy. They have a path to follow. If anything happens to the children, the grandchildren have a path to follow. So you need to have a structure and set it up strategically from the beginning. You understand why you still have the strength, you can do everything. So you are working for the trust, and the trust will continue even after you're gone.
Nice. Because with my own little understanding, I used to preach against, because my own experience about building houses in Nigeria. You know, when I was my first money, my first breakthrough rather, I bought a land and I started building, and in the middle of the whole thing, I just stopped. Like, I'm tired of buying. So my belief was that I was supposed to use that money to expand and to build more capacity about my finances. And I think till now, I used to preach to people coming up that the first money your first breakthrough, try and at least invest it back to your business, or where the money is coming from in the first place. So what's your own advice about if you have you coming up and your first breakthrough, what should you do with that money? Like,
all right. Thank you for that. You know, I always advise people, it depends on what you want to achieve. What's your aim? What do you want to achieve? If you are earning a salary income, and your aim is not to build a real estate business, that's not your main aim. That's not your basic aim. That's not your primary aim. The first thing I would advise you to buy is to buy a home. Buy a home where you're going to live. That's what my advice for you would be. You're on a salary income, because while you're on a salary income, remember that you're going to be living in a house. You are not living at the bus stop. You're not going to live at the train station. You need to live at the house. So why paying the landlord for that house, and landlord is using your money to pay his mortgage? So it's like you are helping him to build his assets. So buy the home of your own. That's number one. But if you're into business and your first major breakthrough, I will not advise you to buy a home. And listen to me. If your first major breakthrough and you want to go into real estate, you're into business, say you are into photography business or video business or engineering business, and you have the breakthrough, you're about £20,000 or £30,000, and your aim is to build a real estate business, I advise you, buy a house and let it out. Or buy a house, refurbish it, and sell it, because you have an aim of building a business in real estate, and you have a business that generates money.
Yeah.
You are not on a salary income.
Yeah.
So I advise you, buy a house, rent it out, or sell it, or let it, or use it for short-let accommodation, because that is your aim. The first money we had when I came to the UK, I didn't buy a house to live in.
Okay.
I bought a house for business. You know, I didn't buy a house to live in. The house we live in, that I bought to live in, was our second house or second property that we're going to buy. So because we want to build a real estate business, we have an aim to go into that path. So that's why. So that would be my advice. So I won't say it's not a general advice. I need to look at your station before I'll be able to advise specifically.
Okay. Let's now come back to our reality, because we are not in Nigeria. We are here. So for people who are trying to understand today's market, so what do you think people are getting wrong about today's market?
When you say market, is it stock market,
Yeah, real estate, yeah.
The real estate, number one, is the only estate that is real. That's one thing. Number two, real estate always, and I use the word always, appreciate, even when the market falls. A market of one of the experience we had was in 2009 when there was this banking crisis and everything was falling. Even property price was falling. However, properties were appreciating. The price of property was falling, but property was still appreciating. Number one, people have got to live in their houses. Offices have got to have houses. During COVID, I thought, I got it wrong during COVID. During COVID, I knew a lot of people that want to buy properties, including myself. And I was saying, don't buy now, wait. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. In fact, property prices rose to about between 20 to 25% during COVID. But I was telling people, don't worry, it's going to fall. It's going to fall. It's going to fall. It never fell. It was rising. And what I came to realize was that during COVID, a lot of people had money. They didn't have what to do with those money. They couldn't go on holidays. They couldn't throw parties. They couldn't do the things they always do. Almost all the hotels were shut. So the money was there. So there was nothing to do with money. So people turned to real estate, started buying properties. So the price of properties were going up. So in properties, I always tell people you cannot time the market. And you can never get it wrong. Even when you buy a bit higher, in the long run, you will still gain it. Why? Because in the UK, property appreciates. The money of property or the value of property doubles every 10 years. In other words, if you buy a property in 2026, this year, 400,000, by 2036, that property will be worth 200,000. By 2046, it's going to be worth 400,000. So every 10 years, property appreciates 100% in the UK. So I always say that the property market can never be down. Mortgage rates could fall. Because of the Iran war that Donald Trump started a few months ago, the rates of mortgage rose. But now, as of this week, it began to fall again. So property is one of the most stable investments you can go into.
Because I think I listened to one of your podcasts or one of your weekly recordings that you've done. You talk about if you don't do it right, you regret, you might lose your money. So what are the smart moves that will safeguard your money? Because you starting out, Nigerian market or African market is different from the way they operate here. So what are the smart moves that will safeguard your money, that will make sure that you don't lose your investment?
In doing it right, property is not something you put your money in and you're expecting return immediately. There's some properties I've put my money in, say, for the past 6 months, and I've not earned anything from it. You understand? I've not even earned a rent of a dime from it. Why? Because they are under refurbishment. And I factored that into that. That's what I'm saying. If you don't do it right, a lot of people, when they invest in business, they treat business, property like crypto or like stocks. It doesn't work that way. No. Before I bought that property or those property, I factored it in that I'm going to be repairing it. I'm going to refurbish it. And this is what it's going to cost me. And most of the things for the refurbishment, I've got it. I had them in stock. That's what I'm saying. If you don't do it right, your strategies have got to be right. Your analysis has got to be right. That property, if I let it out the way I got it, probably I'll be getting about £600 or £700. But by the time I finish the refurbishment, I'll be getting not less than £1,200 to £1,500. You understand? The 6 months that I've missed, I'll be able to recover it within 1 year. You understand? Or within 9 months. So you need to be able to analyze and strategize and look at it. Do your forecast. Let your forecast be right. That's number one. Number two, look at the rate you are paying. I advise people, tie yourself into a 5-year fixed rate. Because of inflation. Inflation is going to rise. A lot of people want a 2-year fixed rate. Well, I'm not against that, but I will tie myself into 5-year fixed rate. Number two. And number three, most of my refurbishment thing, I don't buy them from the open market. You understand? I find a cheaper market in order to buy my refurbishment. And number 4, are the guys that work for me for the refurbishment. They are not people I just get on the street. I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. No, they are people that work for me permanently. So with labor, I'll be able to maximize or utilize or I'm efficient with labor cost. Another thing is there are some other costs you'll be able to cut, like your management cost. I do the management myself. I've got a company that does the management, which is my own company. So I avoid the management cost. So there's a lot of cost. That's why I always say that if you don't do it right, it's not about buying a house and giving it out for rent. No. If you don't do it right, you get it wrong. The house, before you buy the house, how long has the house been on the market? If the house has been vacancy for the past 12 months, by the time you are buying it, you're going to be paying 200% of the council tax. In other words, if the council tax of the house is about, say, £1,000 a year, you'll be paying 2,000 because why? The house has been vacant for more than 1 year. Mm-hmm. So these are all the things that you need to look at, all the little things that people don't factor in when they are going to real estate. And they just think, I'll buy the house, I'm going to rent it out for £2,000. No, it doesn't work that way. So you need to get it right.
So I used to like you now because even if you're starting from scratch now, with the knowledge you have, your movement, your pace will be different from people who are just starting.
Maybe.
Yeah, because it's in air.
Yeah.
So let's say you are starting from scratch now. So what are the moves? What are the steps you will take first? Like you're starting now afresh with the knowledge you have, everything, your experience, your portfolio, everything, and you're starting afresh. So what are the moves, your first moves?
And the first thing I will look at is, number one, what are my strategies going to be? That's number one. What's the market I'm going to be focusing on? Am I going to be looking at a short-let market? Am I going to be looking at rent-to-rent? Am I going to be looking at buy-to-let? If I want to start now, the first thing, and I don't have any property, the first thing I will do is that I'll start with rent-to-rent. Okay. A rent-to-rent is, I'm renting a property from Mr. A for £500 or £1,000. It's got 4 rooms. I'll make it into HMO. HMO is house of multiple occupations. Each room. I'll be getting about £500 a room. That's £2,000. Yeah. Then I have to put energy efficient heating because that's where your money goes. Now I've rented a house for £1,000. I'm earning £2,000. The heating cost and the energy cost, I'll make sure I drive it down to at least 300, at most rather £300. So £300, then my council tax will be about 120, £150. That's £450 in a month. So my cleaning, £50 in a month. Yeah. So I'll be going on with about £500. So if I have 3 properties like that, I have £1,500. If I have 50, and I'm saying £500, I'm trying to be conservative. I'm not trying to be aggressive. I'm trying to be conservative with my costing. So after doing rent to rent for about 6 months, then in that course, I'll be looking for house to buy. Yeah. I'll be trying to build up capital base. Okay. I know how to buy a house. I remember I need a 25% because buy to let in 25% deposit. You understand? I look for the house. And when I'm looking for a house to buy, I will not buy a house that is made up. I'll buy a house that needs refurbishment. Because when you refurbish a house, with my little knowledge, you have added at least 10% value on it. So if the house you buy it for 100,000, by the time you finish the refurbishment, that house will be at least 110,000. And there are ways with which you can manage your refurbishment in order to reduce your cost. There are things you should be able to do yourself. Number one, I'll do the painting myself.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I'll do the painting myself straight away.
Myself,
physically, I'll do the painting myself. I paint.
You need to.
If I'm starting,
me when you want
okay, I'll do the painting myself. Yeah. Some locks, I could fix some locks. There's some I can't do, you understand, but some of the things I can do, and there's some I'll be able to tell the handyman or the people working for me, do it like that, do it that way. So I'll leave about a month for that refurbishment. Then after that, I'll let it out. But I'm not going to let it out as for a family house, because you get less money, I'll let it out as HMO again, not to maximize my cost. Number 3, I will avoid selling. If you're in real estate, you want to make money, selling is not an option. Now, there are some occasions where you have to sell if the offer is too juicy, it's too good to ignore. But in most cases, I would advise you not to sell if you are disciplined enough. So,
wow. So, that the painting part.
Yeah, I'll paint. I do paint.
So I need to be there.
Yeah, no worries.
I need to be there. So I want you to tell me a particular story. Like, is there any deal that you almost walk out of it and it just like maybe your instinct just and boom, it's clicked?
Yeah, there's this property. Actually, I've never done that kind of thing before. I saw the property. It looks not really cheap. Then I started negotiating. A lot when you want to buy a property, when they tell them it's 100,000 or 200,000, I'm saying 100,000 just to, you might not be able to find property of 100,000 now, but you can still get. I saw this property is freehold. And a freehold means you are buying the land and the house, you own everything, not leasehold. So, and I saw the property, I started negotiating. And the way the estate agent was agreeing to my offer, I thought, is this real? Well, eventually they agreed to that offer, and I accepted, they accepted the offer. And now they said I need to pay some amount of money to hold the offer. I think about 10% or 5%, I can't remember. Then I paid the money. So initially I was skeptical about paying that money, and I was thinking, I've never done that thing about in this UK. You're not asked to pay something after accepting an offer. So I asked them, what about if the mortgage fell through, if it doesn't go through? Yeah. They said, we'll return your money. I said, are you sure? They said, yeah. Well, I did some searches about the company. I found it's a legit company and they're into business. I said, okay. I paid the money. Then boom, after paying the money, a valuer went there. And the valuer said, oh, this house is not mortgageable. I said, what? And gave me a lot of things that were wrong about the property, But I've paid my money. So I called the estate agent. They said, oh, the valuer does not know what he's saying, this and that. We're going to send our own valuer. I said, no, that's my valuer. I've used them for a long time. It's not the first time I'm using it. You can't tell me this. So we started, and at that point, it got to a point, after about 4 or 5 months, I almost gave up. I almost said, I'm going to lose that money, and that's it. Then my broker called me and he said, Julius, we've got another mortgage company. I said, let's try them. So we tried. They sent a broker in. The broker came out with almost the same, the valuer, the surveyor came out with almost the same thing that the other surveyor came up with. But this mortgage company said, oh, there's something we could do. We can work with them if they can do these repairs. Okay. So the vendor, the person selling the property, agreed to do the repairs. He was out of the country. Then he came back, did all the repairs that they wanted, and boom, it was approved. But I almost gave up. It was the longest property I've ever bought in my life. It took about 9 months. Normally, the most I've ever done is about 3-4 months max. I've not even done 5 months, but this one was about 9 months, and I almost gave up. In fact, I've given up, honestly. It was my broker that came back and said, no, he said, Julius, no, we're going to work around this. We'll find a way. Yeah.
And it worked.
Oh, excellent. And it's one of the best properties.
Wow.
I would say in terms of value, okay, the value I got from it is excellent.
Wow. So what is the most painful lesson you've learned in your journey of being a real estate realtor?
Painful.
Yeah.
Honestly, I won't say nothing has been painful to me. Because I see it as a hobby. You know, when you do something you love, probably because my father also was a builder. So I've seen him building houses, follow him to the estates, I follow him to the construction site. So I would not say I've had any pain or probably regret, or I think the only regret I'll have had is why did I not start on time? You understand?
Okay.
That's the only regret I will have had. Apart from that, I will say God has been very, very good. He surrounded me with people who are very helpful. He's given me a lot of helps with people, with connections, with favor. So I would say I don't see any. I've not seen any regrets, and I pray I will not see anyone.
Amen. So you've moved with a lot of successful, wealthy real estate realtors, or how will I put it, players.
Yeah.
And what do these guys understand that average people do not? Like average people buying here and there, what do they really understand that people outside doesn't?
What most real estate practitioners or people who are successful,
the
what
big
they see
players.
is that they see wealth in trash.
Okay.
They see wealth in what you and I call abandoned projects. I remember shortly before COVID, I took a young man to a property. That property was on sale then for about, I think about 70,000 or thereabout, or 60-something thousand. And I told him, and he has the money. This young man had about 400,000 cash. And I said, buy this property. He said, nah, I don't want this property. And he started speaking grammar. I said, I knew he doesn't understand what he's talking about. I said, okay, if you don't get it, I'll get this property. So I went and I got that property. After about 2 years, I took him to that place. I said, come on. I said, let's go somewhere. So we got there. He said, wow, can I have this property? I said, boy, I brought you here. Now, after, let me say about 4 or 5 years after, that property is worth about 150,000 now.
Ooh.
I'm telling you. So, most real estate practitioners, they see greatness. Well, in fact, they like buying old properties. I tell people like to buy new properties. I tell people that if you want to go into real estate, start with an old property. But real property, if I analyze new properties for you, it's not worth buying it. Because the banks who gave the developer money, they're going to get their own share. The developer needs his own money.
Yeah.
And before a new property appreciates, it takes at least 5 years. But they will do some analysis for you. They will tell you even before you moved in, it's appreciated. All those things are just rubbish. You understand? So if I want to advise, I say buy an older property. Older properties, they have characters. You can modify them. You can improve on them. You can do a lot of things with them. And they are stronger than new properties. New properties, they are just building them for business. Which is okay to live in anyway. They're pleasant.
So, over the years, you've built a lot of characters and a lot of skills. So, in this line of business, what is that one most important skill you must have to succeed in this line of business?
I'll mention two. Number one, patience. And number two is paying attention to small details. There's some little details about when you look at a house. When I get into a building now, I'll tell you, it might be a 2-bedroom. I'll tell you, we can change this to 4-bedroom without damaging the house reputation. You understand? I'll tell you, oh, this place, you can do this, you can do this. So you need patience, number one. You need ability to give attention to details. And let me add the third one. You need to surround yourself with people who can thinkers.
Okay.
You know, people that look at property and tell you, we can do this with that, we can do that with that, we can do that with that. And those are the kind of things that you need. It's not really money. I know a lot of people that have big money, big bucks, and they've gone to real estate, and they went in with money, they came out with money. They are not successful in it because they are not patient. They don't pay attention to detail. They thought the money can do it for them. No, money can't do it for you. You need to be able to think. Number three, they don't surround themselves with the right set of people.
Wow, that's deep. So, over the years, you've built a lot of capacity and skills in this line of business. And with the new age now, social media, everything, do you still think real estate is still one of the pathways to wealth?
I will not say it's not one of it's the main pathway. When you look at people who are building wealth, either they're in social media engineering, they're in tech, they are in buying and selling retail, they are, no matter what they do, they're in service industry. All of them are channeling their wealth into real estates. I mentioned the example of McDonald's. All of us say McDonald's is a food company. The money they make from real estate is more than food. The same thing, KFC. And that's what most companies are now doing. They are now investing in properties, either directly or through their subsidiaries.
Okay.
That's what they are doing now. So even people on social media who are making their wealth, they are channeling their money into real estate. There's only one billionaire that I know among all the billionaires in America who is not into real estate, and that's Warren Buffett, who is into stocks and share. He's the only one, although he's got a few real estates, but he didn't make his money through the real estates. When you talk about people like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, they made their money from real estate. So real estate is the main pathway. It's not one of the main pathway. So you have your money, you buy land, you buy houses, you invest into properties. And in real estate, you don't need to buy the physical house or the physical land. That's another, real estate anyway. You can invest into properties. You can buy sharing properties. So it's one of the best ways. Or it's the main way.
So we are getting to the end of this conversation. So is there any, if you want to acquire a property or let's say a property, yeah, what is the biggest red flag that you see in a deal? I say, oh no, I'm not going to this. So what are is it one or two? Sometimes you see many red flags, but what are the main red flags that you see that, oh no, this is a no?
There are many red flags to look at. What I'm going to mention now is inexhaustive. Number one, the area where you want to buy the property. You need to watch the area. There are some areas that are not marketable. Nobody wants to live there. Maybe there's drug crime, there's social behavior, an area that's been abandoned. If you invest in that area, even when I drive through those areas, I know this is an uninvestable area.
Yeah.
If you want to make your money, you understand. In the long run, 40 years, 50 years, it could change, but not in 5-10 years. Those. Avoid. Number two, when your surveyor goes into a property to value the house, and they do a survey and they say, oh, this house has got cracks, and the cracks are from the foundation. You need to avoid that. Number two. Number three, you need to avoid houses or properties that are passing through litigation. Maybe there's a case on that property, there's a court case on it, and I will also avoid the houses that are passing through probate. Probate is someone is dead, or maybe there's something that happened, and the council say nobody can touch the house. You can't do anything on the house until when that is resolved. And also, I don't like buying leasehold. Okay. Leasehold is when you buy the property but not the land. So it could be 400 years or 200 years. Although there are some leasehold that are for 900 years, 800 years. But I just don't like it. Because I bought a property, then you have to be paying service charge, land rent, and all those things. No. So that's not for me. There's also a few other things that you need to look at when you are buying property. You need to look at the age of the property. You need to look at the proximity to services, to the bus station, the train station, to grocery store to the schools, to the hospital. You need to look at the proximity. Those are the kind of things you have to look at. So there's a lot of things you have to look at, but there are some, there are no, I can't go near this, I'm not going to get this.
So I have 2 more questions to ask you. So one, the best advice you've ever received that still in your head, like you still have it till now. So what is that advice?
The best advice I've ever received when it comes to property is take one step at a time. When you're starting, don't buy 2 properties. You know, the Nigerian spirit, sorry to say if you're a Nigerian, I'm Nigerian, I can't deny that fact. The Nigerian spirit in you wants to buy 10 properties. You know the way they market it to us, real estate, want to buy 5 properties together. Do one thing at a time. Take it easy. These properties that you're looking at, they're not going to run away. You understand? A lot of people, they bite more than what they can chew. I've seen a lot of people buying properties and calling me and saying, look, I bought this property about 3 years ago. I don't know what to do with it. I bought it about 2 years ago. I don't know what to do with it. And they are looking at offloading it to you. Almost every month, almost every month, I've got emails, I've got calls. I even had one last week about people with property. They are looking for someone to take you over. Come and take this property over. You can do this. But I'm not interested. Why? Because they started it wrong. So it's like, it's now hook them on the neck. They've got mortgage to pay. They've got maintenance fees.
Yeah.
They've got council tax. And they are paying interest on the money they have taken, probably the loan to start it. So it's hook them. I can show you emails. People send to me every time, I have this property, can you come and I have this property, can you come and take it? You understand? Because they've done it wrong. So take one step at a time. You understand? Rome was not built in a day, but Rome was started little by little, step by step.
So I know you've always been blunt and straightforward about when it comes to giving people advice. So what is that brutal truth about success that people don't want to hear?
Okay, in success, there are 2 kind of pains in life. The first one is the pain of discipline.
Yeah.
And the second one is the pain of regret. In success, you must be prepared to take the pain of discipline. Because if you're not disciplined, you can't be successful. Number 1, you can't sleep at the time others are sleeping. And wake up at the time they are waking up. And you want to make a difference. It's not possible. You understand? Many years ago, about 20 years ago, I was talking to my architect then. And he said, I was doing something about 1 a.m. in the night. Then the following day, I was talking to my solicitor. He said, I'll do it in the night. You understand? And I thought, so me not sleeping in the night, I'm not alone. I've got colleagues that don't sleep in the night.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when I say I don't sleep in the night, I go to bed about 2 or 3. You understand? And I wake up with almost everybody about 5 or 6. You understand? Sometimes I go to bed about 1, but averagely it's about 2. You understand? And sometimes I stretch to 3. So what I'm saying is you must be ready to take the pain, the discipline. Number 1. Number 2, you cannot eat what others are eating. In my first 5 years of being in this country, I didn't taste pizza. I love it. I see it, but I can't afford it. I had money to buy it, but I cannot afford it. Why? Because I'm trying to build something.
Yeah.
The first time we bought pizza in our family, then we bought pizza, we brought it into the house. Everybody rejoiced. You understand? And number 3, my first 10 years of being in this country, I didn't go to 10 parties for 10 years. You understand? If there's a party where I'm invited, I will send someone to represent me. Or I will just tell them, look, I'm busy. Because I was busy trying to build something.
Yeah.
Number 4, the type of houses my mates were living in then, I couldn't live in there. In fact, even now, the type of houses my mates live in, maybe 10, 12 bedroom house. I live in a 4-bedroom house. You understand? So it's the pain of discipline. You need to be able to discipline yourself. Like I said earlier on, My aim is to build intergenerational wealth.
Yeah.
And if I want to build that, and I can't live the way others are living. I can't go to the type of holidays. People go for holidays, spend about £2,000-3,000 on a single holiday. And I think, to me, that's excessive at this step, at this level.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's just the pain of discipline. So that I don't have the pain of regret later.
Yeah.
Because if you have the pain of discipline now, then you avoid the pain of regret. But if you avoid or you enjoy yourself, you don't take the pain of discipline, then you have the pain of regret. And the pain of regret always come at the end. And it's never ending. Pain of discipline is for a time. Now I can buy 200 pizzas as I'm sitting down here. I can order 200 pieces. I'm not going to feel it. Because I've disciplined myself to that level. I can even buy the pizza shop. I can say, pizza shop, how much is it worth? I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Because I've had the pain of discipline, which of a time, then I've avoided the pain of regret.
Yeah, so that concludes our conversation today. So one last thing, and this is off topic. My own way of knowing people, elite people, is how they respond to message. Like, they respond. People, even people like you respond like. That's how I used to know, okay, this person is elite. Like, he's top. Because you see some people, they will not be this, they will be idle and they will still not respond. They will be poor and they will still not. But you see, people who are rich, people of high caliber, they don't joke with communication. So when you see someone, how do you recognize that this person is elite? This person is top, is top?
What I look is, number one, you've mentioned that normal communication. If someone who communicates very well is a responsible person.
Yeah.
Like when I send people a message and they don't respond, even after 2-3 days, when they send a message, I just ignore it. First of all, I tell them, I say, look, I've sent a message, did you not see it?
Yeah.
They say, oh, I was busy. So you're too busy to respond, then I'm not important. If I'm important to you, even if you're in a meeting, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah.
You understand? Someone has called me from Nigeria today, and I said, look, I'm in a meeting. When we had a break, I said, I'll call you. I'll be in a meeting, and I know she's going to call me back. She's one of my nieces, you understand? Now that's communication number one.
Yeah.
And number two is ability to take responsibility. When you have people that shift blame, they can never be successful.
Of course, yeah.
Because you are not a failure until you find someone to blame for your predicament. If you take the bull by the horn, you don't have anyone to blame, then you are not a failure. But failures are people that I didn't go to the best school, I didn't have a good background, I came here as an adult, I didn't grow up here. People ask me, are you born in this country? I don't know. I mean, I came at the age of 34. You understand?
Yeah.
And people always say, I don't know, you were born here. No, I was not born here. You understand? I just took the bull by the horn. Simple as ABC.
All right.